This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and I'm joined by a couple of folks that have been on with us before. They are most certainly veteran RVers. It is Marc and Julie Bennett. Hi, folks. Hey, how are you?
Good to see you, Tom.
Doing wonderful, thanks. It is great to see you both, and you look well and happy and rested and ready for the next adventure.
Always.
Is that fair to say? All right. Well, good enough. That's good. Well, we're done. See you later. No, I'm kidding. It's interesting. You guys are right now. You're sort of settled in at your home in Colorado. But you're on the road quite a bit, including an 8,500 mile round trip journey this past winter, right? And it took you to the Keys, and took you to a bunch of places. Why don't you share a little bit about that trip with us?
Sure. Well, as many folks might know, we were full-time for over 6 years, but then we have this home base in Colorado now, and we went inside, hey, you know what? Let's get away from the cold this winter. We've got a new puppy. He's going to be hard to walk in the snow. Let's just go down south. And so we had a bunch of folks that we knew were going to be down in Florida. So we decided to pack up. We actually rented a Class C from a friend and decided to head out from Colorado all the way down to the Florida Keys.
And went to the Florida RV Super Show while we were there. And then we were having so much fun. We just kept driving.
Yeah, why stop there, right? Just keep going. And
who wouldn't stop by California on the way back home from Florida to Colorado? I mean,
makes total sense. And
no,
anyone
absolutely.
That's been a full-time RV will understand.
little boomerang effect, a little slingshot kind of it's like sort of like how they use the gravity of the moon to swing back to Earth.
Exactly.
Go to California. And then you're good to go, and then back to Colorado. Two of my favorite states, by the way, California and Colorado. So anything stand out on that long journey? Something that really was a takeaway that you maybe didn't expect or had some fun with?
Well, before we jump into that, I just want to give some perspective here for people, because I know a lot of people, probably the vast majority of people, don't full-time. And we've gone from full-time to part-time. But when we were full-time, we did about 9,000 miles a year in the RV. Wow. So just to give some perspective, I think a lot of people think full-timers do more miles, but you're only going one way. You're not going there and back. And so we do a lot of driving in our tow vehicle. But that's what was so interesting, is 8,500 miles in 101 days, 3.5 months or something like that, was almost as many miles as we did an entire year of full timing.
Yeah, it's a much faster pace than you do when you're full timing. Plus, as Julie said, you have to come back to your home base unlike when full timing. But some highlights, being in the Florida Keys, we were able to use our 1,000 Trails campground membership that allowed us to get in there for $20 a night instead of a couple hundred a night, which some people are used to paying for retail. That was a highlight because we've been trying to get in there for a while now. Years. And we had some other new campgrounds we experienced that were super fun, new, exciting. And it was always great to see our friends. And, in all those years of RVing, you end up building this huge network of friends that are all around the country. And so it's fun to go down and, oh, we're in Florida. Oh, really? Well, these 20 other people are also here. So you bounce around and say hi to folks.
Oh, that's fantastic. You brought something up, but with the saving money, kind of the prices, you were able to kind of do it in an efficient, inexpensive, affordable way. You guys, write books and let folks know the best kinds of deals that you can get on the road. We want to talk about that and learn more about that, particularly with these soaring fuel prices these days, among other things. We'll do that on the other side of the break. My guests are Marc and Julie Bennett. And by the way, you can find Marc and Julie at their Instagram page, RV Love Travel. RV Love Travel. with over 34,000, you heard right, 34,000 followers. That's amazing. You know, I got it, and growing. So it's just keep that, and keep the number turning, just like on the telethons. You know,
more RVers hitting the road every day and wanting to learn. So we're happy to share.
Absolutely terrific. Well, we're going to find out a little more on the other side of the break. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. Stay tuned. Back in just a moment.
Here are 5 words every RV enthusiast should know: advocacy, community, education, resources, rewards. That's what the RV Advisor was built on, along with protecting your rights. Visit thervadvisor.com.
We're back on the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. My guests are the Bennetts. It's Marc and Julie, and they're speaking to us from their lovely home in Colorado. Where in Colorado are you?
We're on the western slope of Colorado. I grew up my whole life on the Front Range, which is on the east side of the mountains, and then we decided to settle on the western side. It's a different feel. It's more older Colorado, a little less developed, and we really like it out here.
Great, that's wonderful. You know, we were talking about traveling, and you know, certainly one thing you're both no strangers to is the idea of working within a budget and saving and doing those kinds of things, which is important to so many of us on the road. Why don't you share a couple of tips that you've sort of come across and over your experience, through your experience, and something you might be beneficial that you can share with us?
Yeah. Well, I mean, being able to save money RVing is so important, because especially, like, as we've mentioned a few times, you know, we were full time, and being able to sustain that longer term is hard to do. And I think a lot of people come off the road because they can't afford it. But even most people now that are part-time or vacationing RVs, these fuel prices right now, not only the rising fuel prices, but the rising campground prices we're seeing. So that's going up, and that's, I think, a product of, we're seeing everything going up. So those costs end up getting passed down the line. And we're seeing a lot of people, you know, revisiting how they're going to be RVing, how can they afford to keep RVing. And so some of the ways that we do that is, we mentioned earlier, our camping membership. We've got several camping memberships. We've had 1,000 Trails since 2014, and that is a membership that you buy, and then you pay annual dues, and you can stay at no nightly fee at around about probably over 80 campgrounds. And then we mentioned earlier that we stayed in the Keys. That was just $20 a night because of that camping membership, which is an amazing deal. It's normally about $260 a night for that campground. So that was a splurge for us, even, you know, going on a vacation down to the Keys, because it wasn't just the $20 a night. It was the getting there and the driving and the fuel and the whole trip. But we also are members of Harvest Hosts, which allows you to stay at farms and wineries and breweries and distilleries and attractions. Yeah. And that's no nightly fee, but you're meant to support the host. But what we like about that is your entertainment's kind of built in. You don't have to necessarily go anywhere else. You could just stay there and relax, and things are there, and you would be spending that money anyway, going out for dinner or, you know, getting something on your travels as a memento. So fuel prices, Marc's got a few fuel tips.
Yeah, fuel prices. We also have a discount fuel card that we use at truck stops that saves us a lot of money. We love that. We talked about that on our blog post, rvlove.com. And we also, even things like maximizing grocery store points to be able to get discounts on fuel, or changing your travel style. You know, instead of driving super fast, if you drive below 65, preferably even below 60, you'll probably get a lot better fuel economy than if you're trying to hammer down the road with their foot on the floor. And also just little things in planning your trip, you know, planning an efficient route that avoids big hill climbs. We're trying to time your travel through a city that's not during rush hour, so you don't get stuck in stop and go traffic. Little things like that can make a big difference.
They all add up for sure. And even just like and fuel efficient vehicles. So we previously traveled in a Class A motorhome, which had terrible fuel economy. It's about 7-8 miles per gallon, but we had a tow vehicle which would get about 25 to 30 miles per gallon. So they kind of helped balance that out. I think we had an average fuel economy, what, 17?
Between the two, it'd get up into the 20s because we get, or about 15. I mean, because the tow vehicle would have 25.
15 to 20.
Yeah, we'd get around 15 average. But then this year, Julie mentioned that earlier before the break that we had a smaller diesel Class C that we were able to get almost 15 miles per gallon with it. And then we didn't tow an extra car, so we didn't have that offset, but we brought electric bikes for all of our exploring and local running around with errands. And that was a really great way to save money as well, because you just charge up the electric bike at your campground and then you can get 100 miles out of it, just cruising around.
Off you go. Yeah, that's fantastic.
A lot of people are doing that now.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you've certainly made the most, gotten the most bang for your buck and made the most of your journeys. And I think that's not only wonderful for you, but inspiring for so many other folks that know that it can be done and done smartly and really give you the maximum effect of that trip.
And the great thing about an RV too, you've got your kitchen with you. You don't have to be eating out all of the time. On a regular road trip in a car, you're stopping and you'll stop at takeout places, fast food a lot of the time on your way somewhere. But in an RV, you can, make your own meals, pack your own meals on travel days. And that saves a lot, especially if you're a family.
Yeah, not just on travel days. If you have a smaller RV like we did on this trip, which was a different travel style, you could take your RV everywhere with you. So you always had your food and everything with you. It was pretty nice.
Love it.
Yeah,
terrific. We're speaking with Marc and Julie Bennett, and we'd like to kind of wrap with this. You've been a lot of places, but you're probably still going a lot of places. Anything on the docket here over the next couple months that you're planning, looking forward to?
I think we're doing a lot of what a lot of RVers are doing right now is doing more regional travel. Again, we're all conscious of you don't have to go that far to find great places. And Colorado is a wonderful place. Marc's lived here his whole life. We've done a lot of travel, but there's still a lot of places we haven't seen. So we're going to explore
those local and regional travel this coming summer months to enjoy it here and also save on the fuel costs. But that's
like Gunnison is a lovely town. We've got a campground over there that's in our membership. It's called Blue Mesa Recreational Ranch. There's a nice reservoir there. That's a cute town. Maybe get down to Durango.
Some of the other mountain towns when it gets hot, and then
actually we're going to go wine tasting in Palisade. With some friends next month.
Next week, or next couple
weeks.
Month, and then we have a big plans to go to the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta in this fall,
late September.
Terrific! Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun and some great things to look forward to. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Why don't you let the folks, if a lot of folks know who you are already. By your sizable social media presence, but for those who may not know you, why don't you share where they can track you, find you, and learn more about all the things you do and the great advice you offer?
Sure. Well, for over 8 years, we've been sharing at our blog, rvlove.com, and on our YouTube channel, where we've got over 200 videos, but tons of articles. There's a little search bar. You can find what you're looking for. We've got 2 best-selling books, RV Hacks and Living the RV Life. So they're a great read to sit down and just walk you through you'll get a whole lot of information download in that. And of course, yes, as you said, Tom, we're on social media, we're on Instagram, Facebook. We're even on TikTok now.
Wow.
And that's growing really fast. And a lot of people like these short videos, and it's really fun to be able to tell a story in a very short time. It's a fun thing. So we're loving connecting with everyone there. So come over, say hi, and send us a note, and we'd love to see you.
Now that's wonderful. And TikTok is sort of the go-to place for those real short little snippets.
Well, everywhere now. The short ones are also
Yeah.
making it to Instagram, Facebook, and even YouTube. So they're
Yeah.
kind of, that seems to be what people want, people like. We live in a busy world and people are time poor and they're like little
Yeah, they
fun,
can watch little
entertaining
short
snacks.
videos while they're waiting in line for something instead of sitting down for a long.
Yeah, I guess the old saying, brevity is the soul of wit, has a sort of, kind of just come back around to us. And we've even slightly truncated our shows here on the podcast. So, it's okay. That's all right. Well, that's more to get in on the next show, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
So there you go. Well, Marc, Julie, we really appreciate your time. And it's always great to see you. And we'd love to have you back again.
Always, Tom. It's always good to see you.
Thanks
Have a great
again.
week.
Thank you.
Bye.
There they are, Marc and Julie Bennett. Safe travels, folks. We'll be back to wrap things up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
The rights of the RV enthusiast are important. That's why the RV Advisor has built a nationwide network of RV owners, empowering you with advice you can trust. Visit thervadvisor.com.
Hi, everybody. We're back on the RV Advisor podcast. Look who it is. It's Jody Needle from the newsroom. Hey, Jody, how are you?
I'm great, Tom. How are you?
Doing well. I know we've been, well, not we, but you specifically. I mean, we all are working hard, but you've been really going around the clock on stories here for us, including a special feature, right?
That's right, Tom. I'm working on one in particular regarding RV owners' rights to get their RVs fixed at independent dealers, not just at manufacturer retailers.
Wonderful, wonderful. I know folks that have warranties have run into some issues, and this targets that particular phenomenon. And also, hey, you know what? With gas prices going up, I know that's a concern for folks traveling this summer, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people are staying closer to home, doing what are called nearcations. And so I'm exploring that a little bit. And a lot of people are taking to the road, but staying a little bit closer to home in their RVs.
Very good. All right, there you go. That'll be in the next newsletter that comes out this Friday. And that is on the 20th. That's on May 20th, Friday, right here at the RV Advisor. Jody, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, there she is, Jody Needle from the RV Advisor newsroom. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time on the RV Advisor podcast. So long, everybody.
Did you enjoy this video? Be sure to like, comment, and share, and hit the bell icon. Remember, ding, ding, so that you're notified when new videos are uploaded. As always, don't forget to subscribe.